Okay, so hopefully we're going to get this sprinkler going this weekend. You can see I pulled the tank off because this is the electrical line I was talking about. I epoxied this again, but I don't trust that connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the wires here, put a splice in here, solder it in, and put some heat wrap on it. Because what it is, it controls the fog lights down to this switch. So we'll get that done, and then we can put the tank back on. I also had to pick up some fuel line because I wasn't sure what the crossover was on the tank, whether it was 5/16 or a quarter. I have 5/16, but I got to look in the manual because there's two different versions. One says a quarter, the other one says 5/16. So while I was down there, I figured I might as well pick up a foot of a quarter just in case. I didn't have time to check the manual before I left, so I'm gonna cut this out and splice a line in. Okay, so we got that electrical line fixed. Got the tank back on. Now I've got to pick out the right hose clamp to go on the crossover line, and then we can put the carburetor on. Okay, so we got the crossover line in. I just got to connect this air line up here, tighten the tank down, and then we can get the carburetor in. I ran a bigger line. It's supposed to be a 1/4 inch here. I ran 5/16 because the 1/4 inch just seemed like it was a hard time going on, and I can't find in the manual anything about it. So I'm going to take a little break because if you can't tell, I'm sweating my ass off. It is so humid out right now. I'm going to take a break for a little bit, get inside with some air conditioning, and then I'll come back out. Okay, I'm back out here. So I got the tank on, and the panel is on up there. So now what I got to do is I'm going to mount the carburetor. For some reason I can't find the screw that goes here that holds the back of the tank down. I don't know what happened to it. Have to search around for it, but anyway, all that's done. The wiring is done underneath. Got a new dash panel. I fixed the speedometer. Got rid of all that fog and haze that was in there, so that was good. So almost gonna be done. Got to put the carburetor on, hook up the throttle and idle cables, put some gas in it, and we can try it out. But I put the battery back in it, and we'll figure this out. So I'm going to look at 2 more bikes next week. A 2001 Road King and a 2009 Road King. They're both the same price, so I'll talk a little bit about those in the next video. So let's get going and put the carburetor in. Okay, so it's actually about a day later from the last video. I just didn't have time to finish this over the weekend. Luckily today we had a huge rainstorm that kind of wiped the humidity out of here, so for today anyway. So I figured I'd come out and try to get this done. I had to spend half a day just picking up the garage. There was so much stuff, tools and everything laying all around. So we got the carb. This carburetor, I'm not sure if it's the same one that I dropped off. It's the same make and model, but it just looks like there's a bunch of brand new stuff on it. I mean, I'm sure they ran it through an ultrasonic cleaner. But like this part down here, which stock is plastic, they put the metal inlet tube on it, so I'm not really sure. I know they did a bunch of work on this, but anyway, let's get this installed, put some gas in it, and fire this thing up. They actually put a new choke piece on, because the one that I ordered, you can see the difference in length. It's a lot longer, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I ordered it for this particular bike, and it kind of bowed in the middle. It was too long. So we'll put this in and we'll get the bike started. So let's get the throttle cables, and let's move the spring. Okay, so now we got the battery. Let's get the battery in. All right, let's get some gas in this. I'm not going to put that much in. Let's try that. Should not be getting any fuel until I crank it a little bit to get some vacuum on there. Okay, so I think we're running into a problem with the Springer here. I didn't really like the sound of the motor when I tried to turn it over. I didn't like the sound of it. It didn't sound normal. So I pulled the plugs. I'm not getting any gas on the plugs at all. So I'm getting gas to the carb because I can see the accelerator pump squirting in. But I'm not getting any gas to the plugs. So it leads me to believe there could be a compression problem with this bike. So what I'm going to do right now is a proper compression test. Now I pulled the plugs off and I put my thumb over the front cylinder and it blew my thumb right off. The rear cylinder, I didn't get really anything. So I don't think I have any compression in the rear cylinder. So that could be, I don't know, maybe a bent valve. Maybe the rings aren't right in there. But we're going to do a compression test and then, you know, with a gauge and everything. And then I'm going to check to see if the rings are the problem. And all right, let's get to doing that. So this is a pretty decent compression tester. So it's got a you know, a quick release, like I think pretty much all of them do nowadays. But so we'll all right, so we got this on. Now mind you, this really should be done with a warm engine. So I think we're going to get a higher reading than we normally would have, but since I can't start it, we do open the throttle full on it, and let's see what we get. Let me bring this down here so you can see that we've got about 165 or 170 on the front cylinder. So let's take this out and we'll do the rear. Okay, let's try this with the rear cylinder. Throttle wide open. Nothing, not getting anything. All right, so we are going to try one more thing. I want to see if it's the rings or maybe there's a vent valve. And how we're going to do that is we're going to squirt some oil down in that rear cylinder. If we get pressure, we get you know, a good compression on that rear cylinder, that it's the rings. I'm thinking it's probably a vent valve, but we're going to try this anyway. I didn't really have a whole lot of faith in these rings. All right, so let's try this again with the oil in the cylinder. All right, so it's not the rings. I'm leaning more towards it's either a push rod or a vent valve. So we got some more work to do, I guess. All right, so we're going to continue on with this bike. I'm going to give you an update on what my plans are now for this bike. Obviously, I got to take the rear cylinder out, and I've got to check the valve and the push rods on that. I don't think I'll pull, if I don't find anything with the valve, then I'm going to assume it's the rings, although this test should have, you know, unless it's both the rings and the valves. But I get a feeling it's a vent valve. That's what I'm kind of banking on. All right, so don't forget to subscribe, leave me some comments, and I'm going to get going on this probably tomorrow. I got some stuff I got to do tomorrow and Friday. Today's Wednesday, so I don't think I'll get back to this until this weekend. I will be doing a review on this compression test kit. I didn't really see the point in doing a leak down test on it. I know it's leaking. There's no, and I got to pull the head off, so there's no point in doing a leak down test on it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.